This all seems really quiet. I'm going to turn things up. Okay, I need to talk louder than the music. Yeah. This all seems really quiet. I'm going to turn things up. Okay, I need to talk louder than the music. Okay. Oh no, one watching now must have been me checking on it. All right, hey, first live stream ever. Bear with me. I'm gonna tell people about this. I'm gonna view my channel. And let's see. Blue sky. I love how I've got the picture of the thumbnail that I was working on instead of the DanDaDan thing. Okay, let's see. New post. Baby's first live stream happens now. Come hang out and draw DanDaDan with me. Woo! Art stream, streaming. Coolio. Warning. I got a warning. It's lower than the current recommended bitrate. Well, hopefully that won't be an issue. All right, so welcome if you're watching. I am going to try to keep an eye on the chat. I am hoping that... Oh, look, somebody is apparently here. Cool. Well, hello. Wherever you are. Please give me horrible feedback if this, some kind of audio issue is happening, if I'm very quiet, which I'm afraid I might be, if I'm not as loud as the music, if the music is too loud, let me know, I'll turn that down. Never done this before. And I'm excited to try to do it as a regular thing, so. I don't know that I can actually see my chat because I'm not signed into my chat. It's an entire stream of me with my face kind of on camera going, bear with me. Normally when I edit these things, I edit out all of this stuff with me screwing around with the cameras and the equipment. So in the live stream, you get to see the whole process of me just... struggling. Two-step verification. The number of times I've two-step verified myself today. Thrilling. television. Welcome to the chat. Great. I'll learn more about the guidelines. All right. Okay, let's actually try to go. I'm probably not going to talk too much unless you ask me questions. Maybe I'll talk about my various... I'll have some kind of stupid musing for you, perhaps. But for the most part, I'm going to be working on inking this beautiful DanDaDan poster. I got a chat there. Hi, Karina. Thanks for joining me. I was literally not expecting anybody to come and watch me on this first live stream today, so thanks for being here. Hi, several more times. I gotta say, the streaming experience is kind of strange. I feel very visible. Even more so than usual. I will do my best to keep an eye on chat. Obviously I'm drawing, so my first focus is on that, but if you have questions or anything of that nature, I'll do my best to pay attention. You know, every time I go from pencil to ink, it's digital, so those are really just vocab words to kind of help you figure out what part of the process you're in conventional terms. But in any case, every time I go from the rough sketch to the finishing process, I always leave my sketch stage thinking to myself, like, yeah, really detailed, gonna be simple. And then I get in there and I start inking on it, and it's like, this sure is rough. That's okay. I actually did not decide whether I wanted to have his eyes visible or not. I left him in there, so I guess I'd like to know. If you watch the series of videos leading up to this, which are all available on the channel, of course, I haven't worked on this since my last video series, since my last recording session working on it, which was in 2024. It's been several weeks. I haven't looked at this in a while. Of course, my great fear was that I was going to open it up and think it looked terrible. And frankly, I've been too scatterbrained thinking about getting the stream up to worry about whether or not the drawing was any good. So I've been messing with my brush input. I saw a video that recommended a certain Clip Studio brush setting, and so I've been trying it out for a while, and I decided this morning that I did not actually like it. And decided I didn't like that either, and decided that the truth was somewhere in the middle. I keep all of my brush settings way down in the corner. You can see I go using the standard like round marker brush, and the standard setting for this is to have it a linear pressure setting. And the video I watched recommended doing this kind of like parabolic thing, which gives you a lot more control over the line width, but I had to put so much pressure on the pen that it was starting to hurt my hand again. So I found that the sweet spot today, at least, is kind of like right here in the middle. All right, I'll be quiet and draw now. This is mine. Let's work on this for a bit. I don't actually know how, this is going to shock you, but I don't really know a whole lot about streaming. And I think that this gets saved as like a replay on my channel for a while. And I hope that I have the presence of mind and the ability to download it, so that I can re-upload it as part of the video series. Try to save these artifacts. I really do want to get more into streaming, and I think it's a fun way to connect with people, and I think it's a fun way to kind of combat AI BS. AI image generator is never going to be able to have an art stream. Oh, don't challenge me on that, please. I was watching DanDaDan this morning. I was current on the anime for the first 6 weeks, and then I watched half of episode 7, and just really wasn't in an emotional place where I could deal with that. So I took some time off, and I went back just yesterday, and I made my way through the second half of episode 7. I'm also current on the manga, though, so I will do my best to not drop any gigantic manga spoilers. But I really like DanDaDan, as you may have guessed. Okay, I did a circle. Oh man, I was cracking up today. I watched. I always watch something on my second monitor when I'm working. And when I first started watching DanDaDan, because I'm trying to learn Japanese too, I have like 18 gajillion things going on in my day to day, and I always forget how much I've talked about on the show and how much I haven't. But anyways, I was watching it in Japanese because I'm trying to learn Japanese, and I wanted to do some listening practice while also watching DanDaDan. So, subtitles, obviously, and occasionally turning them off because I do know the story is irrelevant. But I switched over to the dub. Because I just felt like watching the dub. And I heard the Serpos in the dub for the first time today, and I was cracking up because one of them is doing that Mr. Burns, I bring you love, alien voice, and it got me every single time. So funny. Absolutely perfect interpretation. That is is very different from the Japanese voicing of it. So like, really appreciated that. I thought that was hilarious. It's bringing love. Break its legs. Very early in my YouTube career. By which I mean like 6 months ago when I started the channel. I talked about like my subscriber count, which today is 224. Yeah, it ain't bad. But at the time it was like 18. And you know, even 224 I know is a piddly little number. I am just blown away that anybody cares and would want to be a part of this. So I loved it when 18 people wanted to see the pre-recorded videos. I love it when 224 people want to see the pre-recorded videos, and I absolutely love it that 4 people are watching the live stream right now. So you're the first 4. Working on the DanDaDan poster today, mostly because I want to get it done. But my hope for the future is to kind of do either viewer-voted stuff or, you know, just stuff that I've funded through my coffee page. Right now, I'm tentatively raising money to do a Soul Calibur one. I love Soul Calibur 2. That's a very nostalgic game for me, and that's where I you know, kind of first became obsessed with things like, you know, character art, looking at all the art galleries and stuff. So I've kind of been rediscovering that lately, and thought to myself, hey, it'd be really cool to do an art stream of that. But this was the main thing that I was going to talk about today. Was kind of like future of the channel stuff. I found myself with just a very large plate of comics work, which is great for me. I started the channel at a time when I had a bunch of work cancel on me, and all of a sudden I had all this free time and no money. And I was like, well, you know, I've always kind of wanted to start a YouTube channel. Why not give it a go? And I was making daily videos at that point. I was doing all kinds of things. Obviously, I'm not doing daily videos anymore. And basically, in order to, I got to figure out something if I want to keep the channel going while I have a full plate of work. The other thing that I want to work on constantly is my passion project, Mario Kart Destroy the Moon, which hopefully you are all reading. New comics come back on the end of this month, on the 31st. So please join me for that. That's going to be on Global Comics. It'll be on Comic Fury. It'll be on Namikami once I get my page set up over there. All of that in service of working on you know, the book for Mario Kart Volume 3. But that's another thing where it's like I need to make full comic pages that no one is actively paying me to do. So I need to figure out how to work that into the schedule. These ears are different. What have you done? What have you done, Brendan? Trust the pencil. Follow your own ding any case, Marukiro YouTube channel. 2 things that I really want to do that I don't necessarily have the time for, because I have to do all the really awesome work that I've been hired to do. And I met a cartoonist at a con recently who is a very successful freelancer, has created her own series, is an art director for the company that he works for, and is also teaching like art classes on the side. And basically had that conversation with him. It was just like, how do you do all this? How do you juggle all this? And the recommendation that he gave me was like, stack up as much of your work as you possibly can. Take things that I'm going to cheat on this in a second. So it's going to be cool. If you watch the video, I'm going to do exactly the same thing I did for the pencil. In any case, what he told me was, stack up as much of your work as you possibly can, and that makes it, viable for you to keep your passion projects going. So, all of this to say, in a very rambling fashion, you're going to see a lot more Marukiro stuff on the channel. And when I do art streams, a lot of it is probably going to be me working on the comic. Unless it's one that I've actually raised money for, like Soul Calibur 1, which will be on the topic. But hopefully you enjoy watching comics get made. Hopefully you know a little something about Marukiro. And if not, you're going to learn about it. So, hey. Here comes the cheat. So this is technically, I'm doing like a clone stamp thing. How many do I have to do? Oh, there's so many of them. I feel okay doing this for a couple of reasons. Let me tell you. First of all, Wally would be proud of me, and that's all that matters. Second, Serpos are clones. They look exactly the same. Best way to do something makes them look exactly the same? Copy and paste. Best way to size it just like your sketch? Do it like this pretty much more or less. Coolio. And actually, what I should have done is duplicate this to use the correct size. Making the graphics card work overtime today. Sketch. These 2 dudes have their own layer now. See you later. Oops. I'm not sure how long I'm going to stream for today. I'm not sure how long the usual live stream is. People drop in, drop out, that's all cool. I don't know, maybe keep it going until, well, at least until 2 o'clock. I'm going to do at least like an hour and a half. And I think my plan is like, I'll come in here and finish the ink today. I don't know if that's going to happen. mine normally, I very rarely have an instance where I have a group of characters like this, where it's like, oh, they all look exactly the same. I'm just thinking about this clone stamp thing I'm doing, and how kind of outside my normal workflow it actually is. I wish I had characters that looked exactly alike. Then I could do this kind of stuff all the time. You know, this is the kind of thing where it's like, if people are okay with just silently watching me draw things, well, I'll just stream all the time. Why not? Now that I'm more or less set up for it. The other thing that doing this copy-paste thing is good for is it makes me feel like I'm accomplishing maybe slightly more than I actually am. But it's nice, you know, for me to be able to look at the drawing as it's being worked on, and to see, you know, at least a significant portion of black on the page. That kind of like blank page panic, you never entirely get rid of that. I did a podcast this morning, and one of the things we were talking about was, you know, getting started in art and everything. The host was talking something about like the upfront, like the grind that you have to do up front in comics, and it's like never really stops. I mean, yes, it is something that happens up front, but like you're always going to be busy. If you're not busy, you've got a problem. entire layer, even if the layer materials are not necessarily in the active work area, it still copies them over. If you select to the edge of the work area and copy paste, you only get what's visible in the work area. So if you're trying to do like I'm trying to do right now, and stamp these little serpo heads, and they're not all visible on the page, then you lose some pieces. Neat. Jamming. Blue, not blue. Just to give you like some of the most boring behind the scenes information that I could possibly imagine. I cough a lot when I'm doing the recording sessions. And when I'm doing the pre-recorded ones, I edit all that out. And it's like, not on live. I'm so sorry. Alright, look at all those guys. They're a big, happy family. We'll tone them up later. Obviously, there's a lot of tone in the sketch that I'm not really putting in right now, but I will get to that. I don't know, I'm kind of dreading working on the central figures. It's weird. Kind of did this at the time I did today because I figured middle of the day on a Tuesday. No one will be around to watch me make a fool of myself. But you've proved me wrong. That's probably my favorite thing about doing digital stuff is like I get to play with the really heavy blacks, and if they end up being a mistake, I can go in and fix it really easily. I don't have to mess around with the white out or anything. Let's do some grading. Save. Hydrate. Pop in the chat with any questions, comments, concerns. No concerns. I don't have any for concerns today. When I do the ink, I'll try to get in like the most basic and well-defined shapes and really come back later for most of the fiddly detail. Sometimes skipping the fiddly detail stage entirely. So I do a lot of that with color too. So. Things like grainy skin. Ah! What's up, Em? Talking about something about fiddly details. Oh yeah, so Turbo Granny's old. One of the ways that you make a character look old is to put lines on their face. It's kind of funny. If anybody's familiar with comic artist Rob Liefeld put so many lines on every character's face, and Rob Liefeld is, everybody's got a Rob Liefeld take, and I'm not going to waste time giving you mine, because it's not very original. But in any case, Rob Liefeld put so many lines on characters' faces, characters who are supposed to be like in their 20s, or younger even, and they all look like senior citizens just because they're so scrunched in, big angry foreheads and veins popping out, and all kinds of different tone lines. Great if you want to make a grumpy-looking old person like Turbo Granny. Not so great if you want a fresh-faced character like I don't know. I'm trying to think of somebody who Rob Liefeld did tons of work, but I don't know, if you're drawing like X-Men and you had Shadowcat with like 1,000 gajillion lines on her face, and it's like, she's 17 years old, she walks through walls, she has the face of an 80-year-old. I have to go back to my previous video about this and decide whether or not I gave Turbo Granny eyebrows. The sketch looks like it doesn't, and I recall saying something about making her look like Wormtongue, which would mean no eyebrows. what I should really do. I got two different erasers that I use. I mean, I have one eraser that I use and one eraser that I say I use, but I never actually do. First is the kneaded eraser, which I use for sketching, which when you erase stuff, it leaves behind kind of like a little artifact so you can follow along and improve on your sketch and shape and sculpt with a pencil, blah, blah, blah. That's not what we're doing today. Today I need a hard eraser because I'm doing ink and I want my ink lines to be clean and I want to obliterate the lines when I don't want them there. So. Ages ago, before the DanDaDan anime actually came out, and I had just been reading manga, I drew just like a warm-up of Mr. Mantis Shrimp. And of course, if you are someone in the know, you know that his name is Peeny Weenie. But I did it before the anime came out. He hadn't appeared in the anime. I didn't know what color he was supposed to be, so I took a guess. I was actually pretty close. I saw it today, but I couldn't even get a proper sound clip of the theme by Creepy Nuts, and so I got like some other version of it that wasn't the DanDaDan theme. It was just the song Otonoke, and so it sounds completely different. I put it up as a short, and it got like very few views, like a lot of my shorts often do in their early days. And I kind of forgot about it. And then I started getting comments on it that were like, DanDaDan song sounds like it came out of a toaster. And I was like, hey, I mean, that's not my fault. All this to say that I did a time lapse of Taro Sakamoto from Sakamoto Days, and I did that before the anime came out, and I couldn't find a sound clip of the theme, so I decided to wait on that one. So you'll probably see that this week. I have not started watching Sakamoto Days yet. That's another one that's like, I'm so far ahead on the manga that it doesn't matter. I'll watch it when I watch it. I might even watch it in Japanese. Took a break from Japanese after I went to Japan, and I'm starting to pick it back up again. It is fun. Going to Japan when I did and trying to speak Japanese to people might not have been the best thing for my self-confidence on the issue. It's kind of funny. My wife and I arrived in Tokyo at 2 a.m. Trains don't run in Tokyo after midnight, so we had to get to our hotel, and I had to hire a taxi, which I don't do particularly often when I'm in the United States. So doing it in Japan was like, well, this could go horribly wrong. But you know, you go out in the airport, and you go to the taxi stand, and they kind of get you through the line. And I got the taxi driver, and he put my bag in the car. I told him where I was going in Japanese, and he repeated it back to me in Japanese, and I confirmed it. And I felt really good, and I was like, wow, we made it. And I asked him like how much, and he told me, and I paid him, and I thanked him, and it was like, this is gonna go great. And the next day it was all downhill from there. that was the other thing when I went to my other one thing that sticks out in my mind as being a quote unquote successful interaction in Japanese. When I went to Anime Shinjuku, I wanted to buy the Japanese volume of JoJo, and so I was able to ask one of the workers where the JoJo manga was. He was very exasperated. He did not want to stop what he was doing to talk to me, but he was also nice enough to actually get up and show me. So I appreciated that. Yeah, I'd really like to go back to Japan someday. The hardest part is getting there. You know, it's like I still get ads from Tokyo Domino's at Domino's Pizza in Japan. It's pretty good and cheap, and I get deals all the time to my email. You get a pizza for 500 yen, which is like $3.50 US. Not getting that here. I don't really think that eating at Domino's counts as exploring the local cuisine, but I'm gonna draw the foot. Man, I still have all the foot references that I looked up for this in my reference folder. That's one of the cool things that I think when you're drawing. To challenge yourself with something that you've never done before, that you've never been good at, and then to try to maintain that skill over to somewhere else, over to your future projects. And I'm a really big fan of this foot and how this foot came out, because I think it's really stylized, which I like. Things that are really heavily stylized but still like are clearly identifiable as the things that they're supposed to be. That's right where I want to live. You know, the first thing that every YouTube video asks me whenever I try to upload something or in this case, start a live stream, they ask me, is this for kids? And I'm thinking to myself, who's out there? Oh my, that's a huge eraser. Back to my stupid question. Are there really people out there who are live streaming specifically for kids? And I guess there must be. enriched experience from reading the manga, which is, you know, really what you want an anime adaptation to be. We talked about episode 7 today, and episode 7, you know, that story in the manga is obviously still a gut punch, but like they did such a good job of putting that on the screen. It really hurt me in the place that feels feelings, you know. And the other thing, getting away from that, I have to look at the camera when I talk instead of looking at my little photo. Hi. In any case, it's that show is so funny. There are so many little gags and things that I guess were also in the manga, but just when they put them on screen, and just the timing is so good. Just like Momo passing out every time she hears the name Kentakakura. Stuff like that. The episode where they when they have the underwater fight with Nessie and Mr. Mantis from the Servos, and Okuran gets his clothes ripped off and then is buried under a pile of desks. And when he gets back up and delivers like his ass-kicking speech, has to do it completely naked and just like sidling across the screen, trying to not be seen while giving like this really serious and intense speech. Very, very funny. The height of comedy. Is that supposed to be a sleeve or hair? That's hair. Okay. Yeah, I kept a lot of this black, didn't So there's a strong chance that I'm going to go back through this and redo his hair as a digital paint. Which I've been doing a lot lately on the Marukuru comics. In case you missed me talking about it before, Marukuru new comics. January 31st. Read them online. Global Comics, Comic Fury, probably Nami Kami 2 by that point. But I've been doing that with her hair a lot. It's on the banner. You can see it. And I kind of like the way it looks better than black and white. where it's like I feel like I shouldn't look at my own drawing and have to parse what's what. All that's going to get cleared up when we color, so it's fine. But as you're working on your own drawings, if you can't figure out what the hell it is you're looking at, no one will be able to figure out what it is that they're looking at. When I am having trouble like that, I do tend to find that it helps to zoom in and make the line get a bigger stroke. That's Turbo Granny. This is the thumb. Fast. Someday you'll get the one that you want. Alright, quick vibe check. It's looking like a thing. I'm not super duper happy with the spot blacks on my boy Ochre in here. But again, a lot of that's going to get addressed in color. There's a couple of tangents. I don't think I've talked about tangents on the program in a while. But a tangent is when you have lines interacting in a way that looks, and usually is, unintentional. So something like this here, those aren't tangents, that's just bad artifacts. But like right here, I got the trail of the pant leg, and I've got his speed trail that I'm working on. And those really need to cut across each other very decisively, because otherwise, they're not even parallel. They could be parallel, I guess, if I wanted them to be, but I actually don't. And those lines have like unintentionally merged, so I need to separate them in such a fashion that they cross all the way. There you go, that's much better. This is coming though, no mono yet. Something that I'm trying to remember is what my intention over here was. And I think this is supposed to be fabric texture. So that's how we're gonna ink Probably have to do some kind of I'd have to look at the reference. I don't remember off the top of my head. That's one of the other things that is funny about ink versus pencil. It's like whenever I get to the ink stage, especially when I'm making videos, whenever I get to the ink stage, I think to myself, well, I can put all the references away. Because I've already done all that work, all the brain work, as I call it, is already done, and now I just need to do the rote work of going over everything with the ink. And I don't need to look at the pencil. I don't need to look at the references anymore, because all of that stuff has been borne out and is set going back to my very second series on this channel when I drew the Hades 2 Malinois piece. I was checking the references for that well into the color stage. So, and didn't think I would have to, to get too bogged down by my brain when I work on this stuff. Basically, if there's a problem, I can fix it later. Tons of things that you see in your own drawings that you think are going to be huge issues that other people just don't notice. I was reading a posting by a colleague of mine that I don't necessarily agree with, but they made a good point nevertheless, which was essentially that when you're making pages for a comic, speed should be like your first and only focus, because people are just not spending enough time on the page to worry about whether your art looks any good. And that's an oversimplification, honestly. I don't think that they were saying like do a bad job on purpose. Like I said, I don't really agree with that because it's like, I don't know. Half the reason I do this is because I want to make something that looks awesome. By the same token, people do speed read through comics, and they probably do not give every page its due, and they probably do not spend nearly as much time as you want them to looking at your pages. However, there are some of those wonderful freaks with a capital F in the world that will go over your pages like that and will love you more do it for those people. And for me. Mostly for me. If I can do something for myself and it makes the freaks happy as well, then that's how you make a comic. That's the sweet spot. Freaks with a positive connotation. I'm pro-freak here. Words. Eyes is what I started saying. Turbo Granny's eyes. We might come back and do a digital painting on those, much like we do the hair, just because I'm not super duper crazy about how it's coming out in black and white. Even though it don't look half bad. famously told me several times that art in comics doesn't matter. Something that makes me want to smack him upside the head. But it's an important, it's like when you're an artist and when you're working in comics, it's actually important to have and understand that perspective, because there are definitely people out there who are like big comics, manga, whatever readers, who consume a lot of that stuff and be like, I don't really care what the art looks like. I don't know if I really have a moral to the story here, other than worry less, make more. Make it so that you love it. And then hopefully somebody else will too. Uh-oh. We have a problem. Alright, cool. It's like this is a teachable moment for me, right? I made an oopsie doodle here with the eyes. That I'm not even entirely sure what happened or why. But I like this one and I don't like this one, so I'm gonna do some erasing and see if I can make this one look more like this I don't really want them to be like exactly the same. She's got like, she's all wrinkly and I want to play with that. Yeah, that'll do. And I'm going to come back and paint over that anyways, so. Still no Momo. You know what? I'm probably going to end up digitally painting Momo's hair too, which means I'm really not going to worry about it. I'm just going to paint over this whole poster. Screw the whole thing. Paint over everything. You can't stop me. Fantastic. Sorry for slamming the water bottle. If I heard it through the headphones, you definitely heard secret back channels. The music is too loud. Hopefully that's better. Again, if you're just joining me, this is my very first live stream ever. So if you do have notes like that, like, I can't hear a word you're saying, or you're the worst artist I've ever seen, quit and give up. Actually, keep that one to yourself. But other stuff, constructive stuff, feel free to drop that in the chat. I have always mixed the instrumentals too loud. Going back to the days when I was in high school and I was in a garage band, and I was even the vocalist in that band, and I still mixed the instrumentals too loud. I'll tell you my plan for today. I know I definitely would like to get all the blacks down. And I'm debating whether or not I also want to do the gray tones. Now, if I do all the gray tones, then I'm just done with inking, which would be kind of cool. But it also might take a while, so... And then I begin to have the internal discussion about how long I want the stream to go. Which is like, I regularly will sit at this desk for hours and hours working on this stuff without a second thought. So, I don't know. But I also have some comics work that I need to do today, so can't spend the entire day streaming. Much to my own chagrin. I always have some issue of determining exactly where a neck should go. And I was looking at some real people. I noticed, you know, and I'm like, ooh, gonna get the fair bit of chin before the throat starts. So I'm gonna set this back a little further than I have it in the sketch. And the problem being that the collarbone is covered up by the jacket, so it does look like it jumps, but leave it be. And I'll talk louder so people can hear me. I'm mumbling to myself. What I should really do is get a microphone boom stand so I can bring the mic from where it is down on my desk and stick it right up here. Save. Hydrate. Well, Momo, it's easier to put you on there than I thought it was going to be. Alright, the jacket texture. And blacken this up a little bit because it just makes it look more designed. I love the clothes in DanDaDan. I particularly love when you get like the full page, what do you call it? The first page of the manga where it's like an illustration and it's not an actual page, and they do like a pinup picture of a character or something, whatever that's called. When they do the characters wearing like actual like DanDaDan jackets and stuff, and kind of putting them in that. I love that. I would like to draw like more modern fashion stuff. I picked up a book when I was in Korea actually on the subject. Of course, I write a savage fantasy comic, so it's a little bit difficult to incorporate those things. But it's also you know, a weird fantasy, and I can do whatever I want. So that's why my Rokura has cool shoes now. So the one thing that I have failed to do is include, you know, Momo's cool bangs, which we talked about in the videos when I was still working on the sketch of this. And the solution, of course, is going to be to paint it, and so we can do like individual strands and you can see them flying up. Because you know the cool thing that she has with the cross bangs, a little difficult to communicate that when the hair's flying up like this, but that's okay. Like that, to divide the page in half diagonally. pretty great. Decent. Needs a little more. I want to do a little bit more with the central figures to bring them out with just the black and whites without doing any tone yet. Reason for that being as my good friend and fellow cartoonist Lukasz Kowalczyk would say, the number one rule is that it must look good in black and white. So a lot of this has to do with spot blacks, a lot of this has to do with line width and weight. And as an artist who relies so heavily on color to carry the detail of my drawing, this is something that I'm really like trying to do better about, is focusing on my black and whites. Because, you know, the more work you do at this stage, the less work you have to do at the color stage. The more work you do at any earlier stage in the process, the less you're going to have to do you know, later on. You know, we are going to do some stuff with Okarun and his clothing and his jacket. Just because I'm not 100% happy with the way that I spotted it, and I can see some really easy improvements that I could make. Oh, I have to do the details on Momo's jacket too. Which that's just going to be like, it's like a brocade or something that you would, can't think of the right word, but just some fiddly bits. She looks a little wooden. And I think it's because she's not looking in any particular direction. That's already better. It's not perfect, but I can always come back in later and mess around with this and touch it up. I recall having some issues with that when I was working on the sketch as well, so not going to be the last we see of that. All right, doodle on the jacket a little bit. Neat. Okay. So basically, can accentuate some of the curves with some hatching. Make him look a lot more dynamic. In that way, you know, because the problem with the big spot black on this is that you get a big black splotch, and then, you know, Okarun's very kinetic. He's supercharged. He's super fast. So you want to always be able to kind of feel that energy. You've got to be able to look at the drawing sometimes and just be like, you know what? It's not doing what it needs to. I already feel better about this, so. And then we go the other way. Go into the big white sections. Hatch in the black a little bit. Now we're talking. I like that a lot better. And I barely had to do anything. Cool. All right. Some potentially wibbly wobbly stuff. That's my fault. The lines are there. I just didn't do them. Yeah, you know what? I think this is going to come out all right. Oh, hi, Elias. How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I wanna put a stronger border around them in the middle to kind of make that stand out more. And then maybe we'll start the grays. I think probably we'll keep the stream going for another half hour or so. Like I said, I've got some comics work that I need to take care of today, so I can't stick around forever, but you know, I really wanted to give this a go today. My very first live stream, kind of get over that initial fear of going live, and you know, as with usual, the best way to conquer your fear of something is to just do it in the most brash and thoughtless way possible. So I appreciate everybody coming out today and hanging around and watching. And we're still got another half hour or so to go here, so honestly, I gotta say, this went a lot better than I thought it was going to do, stream-wise. Just the fact that people showed up to watch it. Thank you. I didn't have any major technical problems. Fingers crossed. All the streaming software worked the way it was supposed to. Alright, we have no choice but to start thinking about gray tones. And we'll probably start with our friends, the Serpos. Try to remember what I did for this. So there's two ways to go about toning. One is to do a big block tone and then carve out whites, which is what I do pretty frequently. And the other is to actually just, draw in the tone. Kind of debatable which one takes longer, kind of depends on the situation. So today we're going to do a big block of gray and we're going to carve out. With these guys, the one up front is the least shadowed. The ones in the back are the most shadowed. So there's going to be a couple of layers going into that. And I'm noticing that I have just got to cut Momo's figure a little bit heavier. All right, that's good. All right. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of my sketch layer. We are still going to rely on the sketch for reference when it comes to how we're toning, but there are definitely going to be some instances where I either do things differently from how I had it in the sketch, or where I just let the geometry of the shape and the ink guide me as opposed to checking what I did in the sketch. Now, I should have done the same thing at the sketch stage, so I should come to the same solution. Not always the case, obviously, but we're pretending that we have objects in 3D space. That's kind of the theory behind how we light. When you think about it, Bob Ross was one of the very first art streamers. Can you imagine if Bob Ross was still with us today? He'd have a hell of a YouTube channel. Whew. There's a man who was born before his time. I need to record some new lo-fi tracks. I like this one. I use it in a lot of my videos. I've got 3, and one of them's a cover of a Brad Neely song, so I'm not sure how much of that one I should use. This one is totally original, though, and so is there's another one that I have that I use on the paneling videos that is also entirely original. Alright, so generally speaking, this is going to be a print someday soon. If you come see me at IC3 in New Haven in March, I'll have poster prints of this. So a couple things to keep in mind as a result of the fact that we're going to be printing it. And one of that is density of the shading layers. Generally speaking, 20% for your kind of lighter shadows, 40% for your darker shadows. Anything darker than that, it's going to print too dark. That's not always the case 100% of the time, but it's a good rule of thumb for safety's sake when you're doing something for printing. So in the case of this, what I usually do is 2 layers at 20%. So I've got my base layer at 20%, and then I've got a double layer for my heavier shadows that's also at 20%. 20 plus 20 is 40. So for that, like the inside of their eyes will be a 40%. And you know, stuff that you're making for the screen, you can obviously, there's all kinds of different lighting and things that you can do with that. You can go like things that are just a smidge above black or just a smidge down from white, blah blah blah. Stuff that does not print in the same way. A lot of people think for printing purposes the only thing you have to worry about is your color profile. So, you know, things that are made for the screen are typically done in an RGB profile. Things that are done for printing typically done in a CMYK profile. But even if you're working in a CMYK profile, you can still make your stuff too dark. So keep it in mind. And 99.9% of the time, your printer will not tell you, hey, you know, this is going to print very dark. They'll just print whenever you send them. So. Alright, so with this dude, eyes, under the nose, under the lip, all 40% darkness, and then folds of the shirt, bottoms of the eyes, under the cheeks, directly between the nose and the lip, that's going to be at 20%, and then he is going to get lit up considerably after that. So, we take, you can do this with an eraser, or you can do it with a marker brush that you select the negative color. I use the negative brush more often than I use the eraser for this kind of stuff. Just because it has the same feel and control as my marker brush, which I like. The great thing about Serpo is his head is a mask. So it's very geometric, and it's just a joy to work on. I suppose there's a world where you could theoretically pretend that all of your characters' faces are masks, and in that way make everything a joy to work on. Did I do this wrong? No, I didn't. They're toplet. There was a moment in time where I was considering making them underlit. And clearly I decided to not go in that direction, so. All right, I am going to close this out at 2:30 today, Eastern Standard Time. Wherever you are in the world right now, thank you for joining me. It is currently 2:15, so we have 15 more minutes together. But I had a great time today. I'll be back real soon with more. Obviously, we didn't finish the DanDaDan poster today, so we'll have to do another stream of that. Could be as early as Thursday, depending on how things go for me this week. But I would, this is maybe roughly the time that a lot of the streams will be happening. Kind of during the day or early afternoon in my own time. Just because that's the best time for me. And hopefully I can also catch some of my friends, in the UK and in Europe, where it will be a nice early evening time for them. Maybe it'll be a later evening time, depending. But if you're on the West Coast, I'm sorry. Enjoy your Cheerios. Let's have breakfast together. Karina says, I like it, it's so good. Thank you. I'm really glad. I've spent a lot of time on this one, so I'm really happy with how it's coming out as well. Gotta finish up DanDaDan Season 1 this week. It's in preparation for Season 2. Also realizing that they're gonna do that thing that every anime does, and I just need to get over it because it's not a big deal. They're almost certainly gonna have a different intro for Season 2. And this seems to happen to me a lot, where it's like the first season OP is like my favorite thing ever, and there's just nowhere to go but down. It happened with Delicious in Dungeon, which, like, the second OP for Delicious in Dungeon is actually excellent, and it's very cute, and I love it, but it's not Sleepwalking Orchestra, all right? But that's my own problem. I can get over that. Historically speaking, the one anime that I really did get kind of peeved about, and they like, it's like every new OP was a step in the wrong direction. Attack on Titan. Had such a great first OP and just never recaptured. I don't know. Karina says, when is DanDaDan Season 2 coming out? I don't know. Fairly soon, I think, though. I'd have to check on when the actual date is, but I'd probably say within a year it'll come out. One, I mean, the manga is super popular, and I just think they probably already had it mostly done when the Season 1 came out, but we'll have to see. I also... I hope you get more subs. Yeah, me too. Thank you. Tell your friends. I laugh, and I know you like I don't have a ton of subscribers. And that's cool. It's okay. I'm really just getting started. I'm actually super happy with the subscribers that I do have. I'm really flattered that anybody wants to be a part of this at all. So you know, I'm not salty about it at all. That being said, I'd love to have a ton of subs. I'd love to be able to monetize videos. Oh, could you imagine? Someday. Do I like HXL? Oh, Hunter x Hunter. I have actually... Hunter x Hunter is a blind spot for me. I've not watched or read it. And a friend of mine is currently watching through it. And has told me that it's very, very good. So I guess I should probably check that out. Do you recommend it? I'll wait to see if there's an answer in the chat there. But yeah, no, Hunter x Hunter is something that's on my list. I think when I finish reading Sakamoto Days, I might check out the manga first, and then add the anime to my watch list. I have a... oh, yes, very. Okay, yeah. All right. It's official. It's on the list. I'm going to be watching a lot of anime this year. That and my very good friend Robin is... who might be watching the stream. I'm not entirely sure. But is currently watching an obscene amount of death game media. And then rating it according to whether or not it's better than Cube 2 Hypercube, which is a thoroughly mediocre death game movie. So I've been kind of piggybacking on her journey there and watching a lot of that kind of stuff. So between those two things, I'll be quite busy. Yeah, Hunter x Hunter looks cool though, and it seems like the kind of thing that I might do fan art of if the wind blows correctly. So stay tuned for that, I guess. So, as we enter our final minutes together here, one of the things that I intended to do for my second stream was to put up links. I got a text from somebody who I know in real life who's watching the stream. Asking me if I've watched Assassination Classroom, and yes, I have. Not all of it, but I've seen a bit of it. I don't have a Crunchyroll sub anymore, so I don't think I currently have access to it, but that show's a lot of fun. Anyways, back to what I was saying about the stream. And the channel and all this nonsense. Do I like One Piece? You clearly are a newcomer to the channel. Yes, I like One Piece. I love One Piece. I'm a very big One Piece fan. Most of me I think it was the Dungeon Meshi poster I spent actually most of the time talking about One Piece instead, because I was still reading through it at the time. But no, I'm current on One Piece. I think that Ichiro Oda is probably the greatest cartoonist of ours or any generation. I'm a big mark for One Piece. Alright, I'm going to stop working on this in just a second. I was going to get like all of my coffee links and newsletter stuff and all that stuff in the episode description. Like I said, I honestly didn't think anybody was going to be watching the stream today, so I didn't get it ready. I was going to that'll be for stream number 2. So I don't have any of that stuff readily available. But if you check out some of my other videos, you know, those links are in there. If you want to check out my coffee page, I'm having a vote. I'm having you know, like I said, I'm trying to raise money to do the Soul Calibur stream. You know, other stuff that I'm doing there. I'm doing a fan art poll about, you know, the next poster that I want to draw. All that stuff is on there. You know, easiest thing to do to help me out right now, just subscribe to the channel, watch the videos, join me for the streams. I had a great time today. It's on Netflix if you have. I do have access to Netflix, so that's good. I'm talking about Assassination Classroom or One Piece, but actually, I don't know how much One Piece Netflix has, but I'm current, so it doesn't, not something that I've been thinking about. But in any case, thank you all like super a lot for joining me today. I had a great time. I'm definitely going to do this again. I'm definitely going to be back. We will be finishing this probably on stream, like I said, maybe on Thursday. I think yeah, we will do it that way. Yeah, One Piece on Netflix. Yes, that's how I watched early. That's how I started watching One Piece, was on Netflix, and I think I watched it. I don't remember how I finished watching it. Doesn't really matter. But yes, I will be finishing this on stream. I'm going to declare it now. We have to do a lot more on the tone front of things. We have to do a lot more with color, obviously, and I think maybe 1 or 2 more streams to get that all done. We'll see. This might be the way that I do these now on stream instead of trying to do video series. Maybe I'll process the stream recap, edit it up a little bit, and post that as video series. We'll see. Time lapses. I do time lapses with some frequency. I put them in shorts, so check those out. They're cool. Otherwise, yeah. Thanks for being with me today, and I really hope I see you all again. Thank you all for joining me, and I don't know what to say. I've had a really great time, and I feel like this was a really great first stream for me, and I really appreciate y'all being here. So take care, and hopefully it won't take me 30 seconds of bumbling around to figure out how to turn stream off. And otherwise, maybe you'll get some entertainment quality out of me acting the fool, trying to work with the technical stuff. But in case I don't, I will see you later, and have a great day. All right, take care.